There we go. All right, it's all you. I don't know what it would do.
All right, I call this meeting to order on Wednesday, the 20th of May at 6 p.m. Can you go ahead and make a roll call?
Yeah. Uh, Chairperson Frenzel,
Here.
co-chairperson Mizek,
Here.
Commissioner Kalish.
Here.
Okay. Wow. Member. Sorry. Commissioner Shannon Lane.
Here.
Okay, cool. Wow, we are like echoey.
Big echo.
Yeah, we do have a big echo.
I wonder if it's because the owl's too close.
No, it shouldn't be. It usually doesn't do that. Commissioner Rafferty,
Here.
Commissioner Todd Lane.
Here.
Oh, cool. Administrator Boyd is not here. I am here. You are here. And Mayor Hart is here. Okay. So you have a quorum.
All right. First item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. That's it. I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as it's written. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the agenda has been approved. Consent items. Approval of the minutes from the meeting of April 29th, 2026 at 6 p.m. It was called to order at 6:03. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 29th? I move to approve. I have a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? I second. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
Gotta make sure we hear them.
We may need to pause. There's another one muted.
They are right now, but they keep unmuting and muting. So-
All right. Public comment. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. When you are recognized, please stand, state your name, and then address the board in a professional manner. Commissioners may not respond to your comments during this meeting. Rather, they may take your comments and suggestions under advisement, and your questions will be directed to the appropriate person or department for follow-up. First item is general business, the 2024 zoning code assembled in 2026.
Do we have anybody online for public comment? Okay, no.
Okay.
Was a good assumption.
Well, considering I saw the 3,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What?
Thank you for double checking.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's go for it.
So we're on general business. All right. So at the last meeting, we went through the assembled code. You were given homework to go through the green highlighted sections especially, but also the whole code in general for you to have comments and questions about that we can work through tonight. One of the areas that I really wanted to make sure that we were looking at and considering was the administration and enforcement sections, which is Article XXII or 22, which is on page 98.
98 of yours
Okay. 98 of 127. Is that the one that we're going?
or 98 on your little
It's
page,
98 on
a little tiny one.
yeah, the
On
small
the,
number.
on the bigger numbers in the corner, it's 104. Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Is everyone online there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you guys on page 98?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this section, do you have a chance to review it already? Do you already have comments on it? No. Okay.
full disclosure.
Full disclosure is always the best. Okay, whenever I was reviewing through this, I basically was making edits that I would hope would be helpful for the planning commission and how it operates, especially administratively. One thing I noticed is that Article 5 of the charter, when it's applicable to planning commission, nowhere in Article 5 does it actually require Board of Trustee members to sit on planning commission or to attend. There's also some concerns in general whenever we have quasi judicial hearings that occur. We really try to keep those hearings separate for our councils and our planning commissions, because it can be a ex parte communication violation if someone on the Board of Trustees is sitting on planning commission listening to evidence that's presented, and then turn around and it goes in front of the Board of Trustees. Now those particular trustee members who were at the planning commission meeting have additional information that the other trustee members do not have. That's the ex parte communication issue. So I don't know where or why at some point in time the ordinance for the zoning ended up including board members being basically additional members on the commission. There's nothing in your charter that requires it. Remember, the charter is basically your constitution. It leads the way. It's what's going to say what must or can happen. So one thing I would definitely want the planning commission to consider, as well as the board ultimately, is whether or not it's beneficial to have board members attending these meetings, especially when board members are already busy and have their own meeting that they're at. But two, we would definitely have to create a barrier or a policy that would not allow board members to be here whenever planning commission is considering quasi judicial hearing applications. So
I can tell you, let's see, 25, 26 years ago, the reason was is so we could get quorum.
yeah,
I know that from, we had to have them as a non-voting quorum member. And that was part of the reason I know that we had it way back then.
So the work that we did in conjunction with the planning commission, working out a lot of different zoning stuff in town. We weren't supposed to do that.
you can have joint meetings for sure. And talking about legislative process, which is what your zoning code updates really are, that's completely fine. It's more of if someone was to bring a development application that was to come in front of planning commission, and if planning commission is a recommending body, or even if they are a final say body, but if that final say can be appealed to the Board of Trustees, you really shouldn't have Board of Trustees members sitting at both meetings, because it creates a unperfect record, and it really just raises an ability for that applicant to file an appeal with a district court asking for decisions to be overturned.
So was me sitting here listening, is that not good?
Right now, this is all legislative. It's a legislative process, and it's completely okay for you to be here for this.
Well, I think we should remove it. Yes. So the highlighted green strike.
I think always the cleaner you can keep it, the less opportunity to have appeals and pushback.
Well, and a long time ago, appeals and pushback didn't happen. We're now in such a world that everything is appealed and pushed back.
Yeah.
So,
And as things continue to develop around the town, as things move this direction, and they are, you can create procedures and processes and regulations that might make it less appealing, whether or not you want to do that from a tax benefit standpoint, or because in the end they'll just go right outside the town and do it anyways and impact the town. Those are things we can discuss. Those are legislative decisions, but things are moving this direction, and you do want to remove basically things that are in your code that would make it easier for developers to challenge decisions that are made.
Yeah,
So you really don't need to have this section, or this part of the section where one member of the planning commission shall be elected member of the board of trustees.
so we're deleting, so delete that green. Now,
Yeah.
as far as your comment on the member successor takes office, do we just want to strike from or through office and have a period after January of that sentence? And let the rest of the section remain?
I mean, that's really a decision for y'all to make.
But
On whether or
that's
not
your
you want to.
recommendation. I'm sorry, recommendation.
Correct.
You don't think it's a good idea to have the
There really isn't a
appoint
need,
these.
because they're going to appoint people as needed, when needed.
Mhm.
Because if somebody resigns, let's say Lori tonight says, I'm done. She's not gonna wanna hang out. She's not gonna wanna give a 2-week notice, so to speak.
And a lot of times they do.
Right,
Right,
so there isn't a reason to have, or
but
until
if
the
your,
member successor takes office.
if your term is naturally ending December 31st, and no one has stepped forward to take your seat, that's what this is,
No, because then they would renew at the town board.
you hope so.
Well, at that point in time, the town board either doesn't have a full sitting, or if they are putting somebody back on.
Yeah.
So you
So,
can't,
So as a planning commission member, at the end of my 4 years, am I automatically renewed, or
they
do,
have to,
do I get
The town
notification
board-
that my 4 years is up and I need to reapply or indicate my willingness to renew?
Mhm.
How does that work?
Yeah.
This is my first term.
That'll be it. You would basically let them know that you're interested and they would reappoint you.
Okay.
So if they wanted to, they would have to, decide that. So, but that reappointment would occur. The language that we were talking about is, well, one, I don't remember seeing there really being any term limit.
no,
So you can really be on this commission
Yeah.
for as long as you
They're,
want.
they're,
And,
It says a term of 4 years ending in January.
but you can run as many times as you want.
you can continue being
Term
appointed.
limit, got it.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Your
yeah,
term.
there isn't,
Okay.
you aren't stopped after like
So-
2.
So back to my original point, we don't need that statement or until the member successor takes office. We can strike that.
Yes,
Okay.
you can if y'all want to.
I think it should, there's not a reason for it.
I think we should strike it. I think it just adds confusion. It confused me. Okay, that was my last comment on that section.
So there was a big discussion that y'all were having regarding, so it'd be on page 99 at the top, 162210(1)(a), about the number of planning commissioners. I revised it to allow for a minimum of 5, but no more than 9. On top of that, you really don't want to have even numbers, so you would want to have a system where there's always going to be an odd number of a full board. What we've done before is what I've done here, which is if 5 members are appointed and a 6th person is basically saying, I would really like to be on planning commission. And the board's like, that would be great. We would love for you to be part of the team, We wouldn't necessarily want to appoint them as the 6th member because that would create that even. And when you have that split, it makes things difficult. But we could include them as an alternate. So they could sit, and anytime a 5th person isn't there, they would alternate in. Or until a 7th person came along, and then you could appoint both of them as full-time members. So that's what this language has been revised to basically accomplish.
So an alternate, if somebody calls out, it helps keep, again, quorum at that
Yes.
point in time too.
Correct.
Although right now we have 6.
And no one would lose their ability to be on the board. This would be something
I'm
that's
just saying.
going forward. So at the next
Sick.
appointment cycles that would be happening, that's whenever it would basically take effect.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But we didn't we have 7 at one time with somebody who stepped back? Yes, didn't we? Recently?
Mm-mm.
Wendy wanted me to come be on the planning commission.
Yeah, and she decided she wanted to do more fun stuff.
And look where it led.
I know,
I feel like there was someone, but can't think of it now.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I thought we had 7 and then, yes. But I can't think of it either.
I mean, to be honest, if we needed to adjust, I wouldn't mind being an alternate at all and just showing up, so. I'll call dibs on the alternate.
I know, my husband says she's been doing this for 27 years or 25 years or however long. And he's like, he's like, yeah, you need, it's time. I'm like, but then I won't know what's going on in the town.
Knowledge is power.
I agree with,
So
I
what this-
disagree with this.
Yes,
Yeah, and what this language does is it gives the board the ability to appoint anywhere between 5 and 9 members. But we just treat an even number member as that alternate.
Yep.
It's a non-voting member, basically, unless they're needed.
And I personally, if you're interested in helping the town, you wouldn't mind being an alternate. Like, it's not
Right.
completely about your vote. It's just being involved in seeing how you can help out. And usually we need that alternate a lot of the time anyhow,
Mhm.
so.
And they're typically, they come to every meeting, they participate in discussions. It's just when it comes to the actual vote, they wouldn't vote if all 5 or 7 members were here.
okay,
I agree.
yep, that works. Shannon, Todd, or Sandy, do you guys have any comments?
I like that idea. I think that's a really, yeah, I like that idea. That's cool.
Okay.
All right, great.
So would, excuse me, so with that, mean Lori's gonna be an alternate, you'll have 5 to vote, right?
At this time,
Uh-huh.
we're still all appointed.
Right.
Now, you as a board can then make a decision. Is that what,
Okay.
but this has to go through before we make any changes.
And once this went through, then the board would do a resolution setting the number at 5 or at 7. And we would handle that at that point in time.
How often can you adjust that 5 or 7? Can you adjust it as interest grows or doesn't grow, or
Yeah,
they just do it at the next meeting that they have? Okay,
But it says at 5, but they can put up to 9.
up to
Yeah,
9.
but I thought you just said they're putting a resolution that there's 5 or there's 7. So are you
You
saying
would
they
have
have
to
to pick
request
the number
that.
at the time?
You would have to request that, right?
So the board would basically, once this was approved, would do a resolution. They would want to set what the number minimum requirement is. And then they could appoint anyone additional, but that would be that extra or 7. So we would work it out through the resolution that the board would pass. The board could say we're going to do 7 as minimum, because this would allow that.
Mhm.
But we won't do that. It'll be 5. And then I put a max of 9 because
You don't want to.
you don't want to be open-ended, because then all of a sudden you start to flood the board with members that,
Mhm.
Have to, like, if an issue comes up or something.
yeah, yeah.
And once you get to a certain number in small groups, it's harder to
It's too
have,
much.
yeah.
I keep trying to recruit for everybody.
We're lucky
Just so
we
you
have,
guys know.
we're lucky we get forums, so. Thank goodness for Zoom, right?
Yeah, I have been on a few of those calls as I've been driving.
It is very helpful.
Mhm.
Well, number 2, where I removed the language regarding that it shall appoint a secretary for the purpose of keeping minutes of all the meetings. That's already done by city staff. In fact, I don't even think they'll appoint a secretary.
Mhm.
So
So
we
that
might
whole-
just get rid of
It's just
that.
done by
To
me.
take at the same time, at the same meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just done by me.
Do we need to put chairperson or co-chair? Like in number 3 and or everywhere or what?
Yeah, or number 2 calls it a vice chair. Do we want to change that to co-chair? How do we have it now?
Or my co-chair?
Your co-chair,
So we need to change that language to co-chair.
or turn you into a vice chair.
I would turn you into a vice chair.
Then let's do that.
And
Well,
the way it
whatever,
works is,
whichever way we go, let's get consistent.
you know, the thing,
Okay.
co-chair really means that y'all operate together. And you would both be leading this meeting right now, so you should have also been calling out, you know, stuff. Vice chair is, if your chair is not here, you are immediately the person who takes responsibility. If you both are not here, then the planning commission would have to vote on which member they wanted for that meeting to lead it. So vice is usually really the correct,
Let's do vice.
We will get you a new name tag.
I need more vices.
but
Just right when you get the name tags.
yeah. Which is basically what 4 is saying, should the vice chairperson and chairperson be absent from the meeting?
And that says serve as the presiding officer for that meeting or public hearing. That's what we learned as presiding officers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Not me on the.
you're, this is your presiding officer right now.
Okay, this meeting.
But
And if she
we're
wasn't
both-
here, that would be presiding
So
officer.
there's only.
So like
one.
last meeting,
Yeah,
Julie was in charge.
yeah.
Yes, but if both, for some reason, Julie and I decided to go take a vacation at the same time, and you still had a meeting, then you, Sandy, Shannon, and Todd would all figure out who's gonna be the acting.
The
chair.
presiding officer. Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
A lot of this also goes into typically in rules and regulations or bylaws that are adopted by a board. They just happen to be also put into this code. Which is why some of this is also struck out, because code is a lot more binding. It's not as flexible as your rules and procedures and bylaws can be. So
They need to be more in rules and procedures.
sometimes it really just kind of depends. For like, let's see, for example, on page 100, it would be 162210 6, where it talks about the board of trustees may replace any member of the planning commission if that member misses more than 3 consecutive meetings or 40% of the meetings in a 6-month period, unless the absences were due to reasons determined to be valid by the chairperson of the planning commission. And I don't know how much authority, no offense to our chair.
No,
I don't know how much authority the board really wants, or weight the board really wants to give only one person on the planning commission that kind of say. Or if it's valid by the planning commission voting in general together. That's usually how I would see it, but I also would usually see this in rules and procedures that have been adopted outside of code.
Okay.
But if you're gonna have it in code, I would make it more flexible to where the planning commission as a whole
mhm.
would have to vote on it versus giving that kind of power to one
Agreed.
position. Yeah, no offense, Chair.
No. Mhm. It should be a decision made by everybody.
Can I make a statement really quick? When we went to the CML meeting last night, the town administrator for Burlington, I think it was, is also like the planning commission person out there too. So, yeah,
Really?
Oh, the
Big
chair.
town.
yeah.
Much
well,
bigger than us.
They've lost a lot of stuff up there because the prison shut down.
But that's years ago.
So he takes up 2 positions.
Because they don't have enough people.
Does he vote?
I don't know, I didn't ask him.
I would hope not, because that would create all sorts of problems.
Because I told Kim, I said, well, we can't do that according to our charter.
Sure.
I said, we can't sit on different boards at the same time, and we can't be employed. When he was employed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
technically, Kim as town administrator could be voted as the chair of planning commission just to lead the meetings. She just couldn't have any kind of vote or power for discussion. There are a lot of municipalities that are set up where the mayor does not have voting power. The mayor would either be a vote to split a tie. But usually they just simply lead meetings and that's it for a lot of them. But that might be what's happening there. Interesting. That's the case. For okay, so on number 7, that next note is just a note for me and us that the board will have to pass a resolution setting your time and date of your meetings. So that's not big for y'all.
Do they have to do that every year? Or is it just one good enough?
One is just one, I believe,
Okay,
until they do any changes.
okay.
I don't want to set it by ordinance. Because once it's set by ordinance, you have to change it by ordinance.
Oh,
So
let's not do that.
that's why it has resolution of the board.
Because down the road, we might say another day is better. Because at one time, wasn't the school always holding their meetings on this night as well?
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People may show because they have parents.
Mhm.
Let me know if any of the green changes you want to keep or not keep.
Why is 9 scratched out? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would be a duplicate.
Okay, because that is somewhere else.
Hmm.
No question, it is somewhere else.
Then also y'all don't have a section 1816.060, but gypsum does.
Well, I want one. Can we just get one?
If you want that section in, you have.
If we get there, we get to the gypsum section.
So when you revise these, you'll go through and renumber.
Yes, and I already have for most of them.
Okay.
I think the only ones I really missed were in section 162280, which I've already highlighted.
This one, you're striking all of 9, so now 10 becomes 9, 11 becomes 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those will be
Okay.
numbered.
Yeah, where's my $50?
I was striking that one. I was in the board of trustees at one time, never got paid until a long time later.
Yeah, they stopped doing payments in 2011 and then started again here recently.
Well, because they illegally stopped the payments.
It wasn't illegal to stop them.
Oh, well,
The board at that point in time decided not to get paid. So they did it by ordinance.
Oh.
Which is what we were allowed to do, a new ordinance saying, all right, we're restarting them.
okay.
Because the charter gives flexibility to the board to do
Oh.
one way or another.
Cause I know when I started on here, they were not, and then down the road, they did for a little while.
Yeah.
I think when my husband left the board.
Because they
They
were on their
start-
own board, but I don't think so.
So,
Maybe one day, I think is what Ruth said about getting that $50 back.
Well, we're here because we like the town.
Yeah.
Doesn't it, bye?
Is there another form? Oh.
Yep.
I like the recommended implement a deposit requirement instead of a statement of amounts due.
Yes.
And we actually do have that. Ish, sort of.
And by doing it as a deposit requirement against future charges, it allows the charges to change based on market, so to speak. If we,
Well, and we do have them when we do start the pre-application process and all that. There is a deposit.
There's. To your question, I mean, there was what you just said, and I don't know that part. But to answer your question, the deposit would be for multiple things. Your fees that the town has are set by resolution of the board. Those don't change
Right.
until resolution changes it.
right,
Pass-through fees, which could be my fees for
Yeah.
reviewing applications. I mean, those usually are gonna be controlled by a contract that's already in place with the town. But it would be controlled by market as that
Mhm.
contract changes from year to year.
right.
Yeah.
So that's why changing it from a deposit requirement instead of a statement of amounts due, because there could have been a change
Yeah.
in the amount. Statement of amounts due. I like the deposit. It's kind of like when somebody has a subdivision and they hold off, what is it? There's. I'm trying to think of the term and I can't think of it, where they pay so much, so if there's a problem a year after the subdivision is built, you can pull money out of that and then it's given back to them if there's no problems, and I can't think of the name of it now. That's a text that some towns will do and hold.
Escrows.
Yes, it's a
One
type
method.
of, yeah, it's a type of escrow,
Yeah,
so, no, I like that. Too many people get away with a product that's not good, and then somebody else gets hurt.
Oh,
yeah, and the deposit's also because you don't want to be chasing after. The developer to pay the town for expenses the town has already been required to pay
Mhm.
to third parties. So there should be this, basically should be reading to where the deposit is required. And then each month they have to refill that deposit.
Maintain that balance.
The
to maintain
credit,
the, yeah,
The
deposit
deposit
balance.
balance.
yep, I like it.
Development
And
impact fees,
is that spelled out here, that they would be
I believe so.
applying funds back to maintain that?
I don't see it. The only deposit requirement I see is in your peak comment.
Could we just say that
Then I can add it.
something about deposit and that monthly, that will be,
Yeah, if it's not in green, then I
Charge
didn't
fee.
change it. That's true. Sorry, it's been a while since I looked at this.
That's okay.
no, that's
What were you saying? Sorry.
just, I mean, just to say something that kind of spell it out clearer so that they know that there may be monthly adjustments to maintain that deposit balance.
Yes, so the way that it would be written out is that there's going to be an amount that's required for deposit that's based off of what's approved through resolution of the board. So those deposits will show up on the fee schedule as the amount, and then language will also be in here that spells out, the amount that they have to. No, the amount of days they have to make a payment after they receive the bill, and then all through language that says that. they also have to deposit additional funds to bring their
Balance.
their account balance back, which is really just them making that payment. There'll be language that allows us to pull it out of their
Right.
deposited funds.
I have a question. If there's a bigger project, are there different levels of deposit?
Yes.
Okay.
Development impact fees, I know that they basically have kind of talked about this, referencing to chapter 4. Finance or development impact fees is a common place for that language to be. There's a lot more involved with doing development impact fees than what Ruth was putting forward to you. You can't use other towns, reports or their, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for now? I don't know if
It's not like comps on real estate where you could use another.
it's not the same because you have different road systems, you have
Like the
different,
other town's valuation.
yeah, you have different road systems, you have different public improvements, including whether or not you do water or sewer or anything. Your services that you provide are at different levels than what Elizabeth provides. So when you do these reports, which are done by companies that come in and basically pull all the information they need, determine what kind of service level that we want to get to, and then how much it would cost for future development to basically pay for us to maintain those levels of service is usually how we do the development impact fee. That's very specific to your town, and we would need to go through that process to avoid unconstitutional taking challenges, or what we call Nolan and Dolan tests, which are constitutional cases that basically say you have to show a nexus and a reasonable standard of the fee that you're charging and the actual service that it's going towards. So what Elizabeth has done is all about Elizabeth.
Right.
You might be able to follow the pattern concept of what they're doing, but the actual numbers and the amounts, it would not be applicable to you.
So we can't pull bail or anything.
Or Gibson.
Or Gypsum.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
that.
So-
Big
Money bail.
While that's in here, we would need to,
On 104,
oh, you got one, thanks.
yeah, on page 104. Sorry, I was kind of reading ahead, but
No, perfect,
is that the right?
yes.
I was like, wait,
Yes, those.
you said we didn't have that.
There's
no.
also this one.
Oh, is that the 1504? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that one.
Because that was on another page.
We're gonna search for them.
Yeah, because it was on another page too.
Finish for computer.
Yeah,
AI kidnap. Yes.
well. Can be.
Yeah.
Used wisely.
Okay. Sorry, I just saw that and I was like, wait.
Yeah.
You just said we didn't have that.
And one of the other things I said at the last meeting and reiterate now is that I'm in a weird thing to say. I'm a code interpreter, I'm not a code writer. Kind of like being a food critic and you're not a 5-star chef. Like writing code uses skills that are different because you're basically creating something that the town itself wants to use. And there's lots of different ways of doing that. I go in and I'm like, okay, does it say shall? Does it say may? Does it say this?
That counts because
Yeah.
especially when a lawyer can latch onto something and it can become a big deal
Yeah,
if it's not written well. I mean,
and so.
Yeah.
The caveat here is planning commission's role is to review this document. And to recommend either approval. Or don't recommend approval and just don't pass it up to the board of trustees. So don't rely on me. To do your job. It's not my job to tell you that this document. Fits what planning commission should recommend to the board of trustees. That's not my job. I've taken what Ruth, to the best of my abilities, I've taken what Ruth provided to you as planning commission that y'all went through during those meetings and compiled it all together. And then I did a very high level review to make some adjustments where I thought it would be needed. But I have not done a nitty bitty, nitty gritty detailed review of every single provision. That would fall outside of our grant funding. Our grant funding was not for a code rewrite and update. The grant funding was basically to correct the procedural issues that happened back in 2024, so we could get this adopted.
So are we gonna have, are we gonna look at it from this level and move it forward, or are we gonna look at it this level and then look at it at a lower level also still?
That's what he's saying, I think, is that's our choice.
Okay.
Because I know we spent a lot of time on it. And at that time, based on what we were seeing, we were happy with it. Now, having somebody else look at it is a good thing to help catch those oops
That we
moments
didn't-
that we didn't get.
Because there were so many, like, there were enough that we got, but,
Right.
And
like,
to put it in a cohesive order.
yeah.
Yes, and to address things that somebody else might say and look at, going, oh, yep, that would cause a challenge potentially here.
So my understanding is Josh is going to make the changes we recommend tonight. He's going to give us a clean copy for review
Mhm.
before we pass it up.
I agree, because I would like it, yeah.
Was that your understanding as well?
That would be the best way to go about it.
I-
I would like for y'all to have a clean copy.
And we've all always agreed that this is the chance to clean it up and make it, kind of the best we can right now with.
So we're not doing a code rewrite again. While there might be provisions and sections that I would recommend we make changes to, such as the non-conforming uses section. I think that can definitely be rewritten in a way that would be beneficial to the town, especially as new development comes in, or as you create new zoning districts that we would create in the future. We're not rewriting it because that becomes a code rewrite, and that is outside the scope of the funding the town is getting for me to be working with y'all on this. So it's very possible that once this is moved up and approved by the board, things will be coming back to the planning commission for you to start tweaking and looking at. For example,
Okay.
your planning district, your zoning district issue that we have with the map, there's a process we have to go through for that to actually change.
Okay, sounds good. Just a question, because sometimes we talk about having things be the same, so like administration doesn't have to try to think of all different things. So I'm looking at page 105, small print 105. And just curious, and there's the notice requirements, the table, some are 15 and some are 10. Should we try to do, I know this is cleaning. Do we clean this up now? Do we clean it up after we're done looking at this? Or if we want to?
I would clean it up before it went to the board of trustees,
Okay.
because this particular issue would create confusion and issues with any future amendments or development applications that came through. So it's a little different because it creates a jurisdictional procedural step, which is different than whether or not you interpret a word one way or another. Like if it says you have 15 days and then somewhere else it says something different, or there's a conflict, that can create a jurisdictional problem. So you should be, as the planning commission, taking a close look at these dates and looking at what the other parts of your code say.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. And on your end, is it like, if you know something, it's 15 and another, and the special use permit is 10, would it be easier if you had the same number
It would,
of days?
just because when I have to send out notices, because I have different requirements for different things. I mean, as long as I have a chart, so I know, it's okay.
I just think
Because what I do is I would take something like this and I would cut it out and I would stick it on my wall. Because I have certain requirement dates that I have to do for, say, liquor permits legally. I have certain requirements I have to do for public notices for things. I have certain requirements. I mean,
Would it be easier if we tried to make that a little more consistent?
consistency is good, but
We'd have less.
I mean-
For like chance for error.
yeah, and I don't know if there's any, this would be a Josh question. I don't know if there's any legality in any of those that are a certain date requirement.
Your home rule, so you can do a lot of the control. It just needs to be a reasonable notice, which a lot of times 7 days is, pretty good. One thing that a lot of code systems are going to are 7-day time periods. So 7, 14, 28, just because it's a weekly rotation.
As opposed to a 15.
Yeah, as opposed to a 10 or a 15, because that ends up changing the days. Makes it easier. So if I know that our meeting is on Wednesday and there's a 14-day notice, I can just pop back 2 weeks. I don't have to be like, what's 15 or what's 10.
Exactly. And
Right.
are these,
So that's one thing.
Although
That's a
if it has to go in the
conversation.
newspaper, I have to think ahead because
Yeah,
the newspaper is only published on Thursdays. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to have it in on that Monday before 4. So I have to actually think ahead, like an extra
And
few
that-
days.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so if something here says notice in newspaper publishing, that's 15 days. Like from publishing date.
publication date, okay.
Yeah,
And also, are these? Do we need to say business days or? Saturdays.
if you rotate it to a 7, 14, 28, it's just days,
Then it
calendar
updated.
days. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we should clean it up to make it easier. Because then when you're doing so many jobs at one time and you have to stop and think. Cause I did that at my last job. It's hard. You pause and it just can leave room for problems if it's not met. So,
Well, an easy way to do that is change all of the 15s to 14s and all of the 10s to 7s.
but could we just make everything 14?
I would move,
Oh,
yeah, I would, that's,
Regardless.
yes,
okay,
because then there's the consistency.
okay.
And then
okay.
you also have, so that gives you 14 days to, let's see, notice in newspaper. Is that
too
in the
long?
newspaper or
So that, my understanding, notice in the newspaper, so if the
publication?
newspaper is published on a Thursday,
Correct.
that would require, technically, it'd be like 3 weeks, not quite 3 weeks before our meeting if it's on a Wednesday. Because if it's a day after us and it has to be in there 14 days. So it's
Mhm.
gonna be almost, it's not quite 3 weeks because that Thursday, unless we ended up moving our meetings to Thursdays. So it's
So good, 14?
14's good, yes. And it just makes people get stuff, they have to understand, this is the day we meet, so they have to get things to everybody soon.
And I like it too, because if you're just gonna peek at a newspaper, you don't understand the consistency, why something's in there this amount of days, something else is in there this amount of days, and this is, so I like a consistent. I like 14, because you may not get the chance to look once a week.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think
Does
for
that work for admin side?
Yeah,
Any
that's fine. Like I
comments
said,
From our Zoom.
As long as I know,
Uh-huh.
I'm good.
Are you?
Like I said, if you kept it this way, I would just
feel like-
cut this out and put it on my wall.
Sandy, Todd. You guys on board with that discussion?
Yes, I am completely on board with that discussion.
Okay, so are we gonna make all of these numbers 14?
I would make them all 14, and it's consistent.
I agree. And it implies calendar days, so that's pretty clear.
For some of these, you might want to keep 7. So for example,
I was wondering, do we need to take action sooner?
Yeah,
It's
like-
too much.
a special use permit, if someone's doing an application, 14 days, is fine. But if you're looking to do a suspension, revocation, because of an outstanding issue, you would want to have a shorter time period to be able to get that in front of the board.
That's kind of where I was going.
So suspension revocation should be 7.
And we don't have to do a notice in the newspaper just to service. I mean, why does it say no there?
Because Gypsum didn't require it, or maybe Elizabeth, I don't know which one this one was.
I mean, but there again, I think we should be consistent. If we're gonna,
So maybe if it requires the newspaper, it's 14. If it doesn't require the newspaper, it's 7.
Yeah, and newspaper is how to answer that question. If a new use is being proposed through a special use permit, then the people who are around that use need to have notice that it's something that's new that might come in and impact them. So they need to have notice publication because they read newspaper, so they know they can come and talk to the issues. Removing a special use permit does not impact the people who live around it unless they just really liked that they could walk across the street or wherever it was. But that's a different concept. They don't get to have a say on whether or not the town is taking away that permit. The only person who really does have any, say in it is the actual permit holder. So they're the ones who have to get the notice. No one else does. So that's the difference between. So doing something new, everyone has to give notice, publication goes in newspaper. Taking something away from a land use, it's specific to that person who is benefiting from it. And you don't have to do publication.
So special use
Gotcha.
permit, 14 days, suspension revocation of that special use, 7 days.
because it's a service or mailing, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yes, so basically anything that requires newspaper 14, and then anything that doesn't require newspaper 7, because we're taking away the rights of one person versus imposing or potential imposing a change to a whole area. Is that the difference between revocation? Okay.
Just like, when I do stuff like liquor permits and stuff, they have to post. Or even like when we've done the special review, they have to post a big sign that says this is what we're doing. When I, gonna stop on something, I don't tell everybody. I just put a stop on it.
Mhm.
Well, I'm in agreement. I like 14 and 7 though, and I like by the weeks.
Okay.
The only thing is that there's one in violations that we need to take a look at. Notice of violation corrective action order, non-emergency. That's the one that is currently a 30-day for service of mailing. And because it is a corrective action, that one we might need to keep
Yeah,
at 30 days.
I agree. I think 30-day at a minimum.
So. Or you could
Notice
make
of
it
violation.
28 because then it's
Oh, 28.
four,
And it's by the week.
yes, then it's 4 weeks. So that one I would say 28 days.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on that?
Good catch.
Todd, Shannon, Sandy, do you guys see what we're talking about?
We're now on page 106.
Yes, so so basically we're gonna go with what, the 7, 14, 28.
Yes.
I'm on board with it. And I like what Wendy brought up with it was 30 days, right?
Yes.
Okay, I like yeah, I like that. That works for me. That's cool.
And a
So-
reasonable amount of time for someone to fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of the 10s are going to 7,
No,
or
ye-
only the ones that we've specifically discussed?
so anything that is a suspension or revocation that does not need newspaper
Okay,
notice in newspaper, those are going to 7.
okay,
If it requires a newspaper, then it's going to 14,
okay.
except for notice of violation, corrective action, and that's going to 28 from 30. That's what I think we kind of.
And the stop work order, which will stay immediate.
And
Yes.
that's a good thing for an admin to work with.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. We stay consistent.
And I will double check y'all's charter in line with state statute.
Yeah.
Cause that's gonna be the one problem really. is
Yeah.
If the charter says that you follow state statute on something and I go to state statute and state statute says a minimum of 15, then that's going to impact our ability to do 14.
Right.
But it really just comes down to that charter interpretation.
Okay.
So I'll let you know that.
Okay.
I have a note to look for it.
For people that work. That have. Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Like we're Monday through Thursday for the town. 15 days works more on that, if you're Monday to Friday. That's right. I'm just thinking like, it's
Okay.
15, you know, what I
2
mean?
business days?
Well, no, well. Because when I think weeks, I think Monday through Thursday, but you wonder if, how much of this falls on Friday. Then if that falls on Friday, I mean, we don't need to discuss that.
I was gonna say,
Just thinking out
it's
loud.
confused me.
But I know, I am, but I'm.
Confuse me, Commissioner
It
Everett.
affects the Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
but it doesn't.
The floodplain regulations are just copied and pasted from what you already have as existing.
Okay.
So I didn't, but they just needed to go somewhere.
Okay,
And this is where you put them.
yeah.
They just
Yes.
needed to be in a place.
Yes.
They needed a home. Now they have a home.
And so again, y'all's homework was to have gone through and come up with questions or comments on changes that were made or.
It was like just yesterday, we were looking
Oh
at
my
all of this
goodness.
stuff.
I think that's still.
I was.
They have PTSD.
Watching it with you.
Yeah,
Not me, not I can stay quiet.
yeah. Poor Josh, he had to go back and watch all of those.
Came back and had these signs.
On page 89, Article XIX mobile vending, which is Article 19. I'd really like to move away from Roman numerals if that's okay.
Okay.
So last time I informed you all, yeah, little number 89. Last time I informed you all that the draft code that I received from Ruth and from staff had mobile vending article and provisions. But then y'all ended up adopting, I believe it was Elizabeth's code provisions that related to food trucks and push carts.
Yes,
I think we.
So I ended
Yes.
up having a situation where supposedly y'all had adopted this new zoning code that had mobile vending, and then 10 months later, y'all had another ordinance where you're adopting basically the same type of issue, food trucks. So I ended up taking those and meshing them or trying to mesh them together. So what you're seeing as the yellow highlighted is basically taking the other ordinance, which was ordinance 2025-01, and trying to blend it into what I thought y'all had also adopted. I think it's a good idea if y'all do review through this to see if it makes sense, if it does more than you really wanted it to, or if y'all want to just go back to the other ordinance 2025-01 language. And y'all did focus a lot on permitting and time period for permitting. So keep that in mind as you're looking through this language.
You have a post-it over there?
I can get you one.
I think I'll present this. Legal for me to go back this to. Do you want us to review all the yellow?
Actually, you should be reviewing all of Article XIX.
Oh.
aka Article 19.
Thank you, I'm sorry, thank you.
No, no.
You're gonna change.
We love sticky notes.
Yes, we,
I'm a sticky noteaholic. Ask anybody.
I.
Yada, 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 yada.
Okay.
Agreed. Yes, it should be good for 1 year. From the date that they apply.
There's been a lot. Yeah, 4 pages of.
Oh, we have
for
our
mobile
houses.
vending.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing that right now? Or for next time?
Is that tonight or homework?
That's tonight.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was homework.
I did too.
I gave y'all homework last time, y'all didn't do it.
Correct.
So I've learned my lesson.
Did some. But then we've lost.
You've
this
gotten in
by-
trouble and we still have
Now
time.
in
You lost
detention.
this by page 80.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going way back to the beginning, number, this, page 89. Number 3. Ensure mobile vending occurs only on properties that are compatible in use, location, size. Do we need to say about anything and approved by the landowner or the property owner?
There's something
Okay.
further in.
There's something in there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's on page. 16, 19, 40 on page 91.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And on definitions, number 5, where it says mobile vendor includes a mobile food vendor. Mobile food vendor is a defined term. All and of its own.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Again, I didn't write any of this. I just took what I was given and meshed them together.
So what do we do? We need to get rid of one or the other?
No. Don't have to. Mobile vendors just
It may
more.
not be food.
Mobile vendors, yeah, expansive. It's more than just a food vendor.
Yeah, because it talks about services, goods, wares, merchandise,
Okay.
including but not limited to food or beverage.
Yeah. So that could be flea markets, that could be,
Pottery.
I'm selling coffee and belts today.
Who doesn't need a coffee and a belt?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
probably pay attention to definition number 7, short-term mobile vending. And how that interacts with permit license requirements.
Oh. Mhm.
Okay, and there's something this 10 days also, do we want to go to, for consistency, do we want to go to it all again, or?
Where's your 10?
If anything, I'd go 30.
Well, both in long-term and short-term, it talks about, about 10 days. So we have to, if you're making
Oh, I
any,
see. Oh, I see.
so if you're making any change,
Oh.
you've gotta adjust them on both.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because short-term is less
Just
than
your-
10
It'll be
and
just your
long-term is
classification.
10 or longer.
We do like 14 in place of the 10s. Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
I was gonna say for that, it doesn't really matter because it's not noticed.
No, it's not noticed or anything, so that doesn't matter.
And, but who are watching, who's watching the time?
Well, we kind of are. I mean, well,
Code enforcement.
code enforcement does and
Okay.
we kind of do. Like we have the one mobile food vendor right now,
Okay.
so she knows that she has to move her cart every few days.
What part of 7 did we need to pay attention to? It,
I would just
jumps out at me.
acknowledging the difference between long-term mobile
And
vending and
short-term.
short-term, and that I believe the licensing and permitting is only required for long-term. So knowing short-term means these people would not need licenses or permits.
Got it.
So this is just, can we move short term up above long term or underneath long term so those two are together?
I think it's
Alphabetical.
but licensed mobile.
License.
businesses.
Mobile is
mobile
not.
Isn't.
Yeah,
So
it should be alphabetical.
Okay,
And I didn't draft.
well, as long as we're sticking with whatever pattern we're doing, but
Yeah, alphabetical order.
AI didn't catch
I didn't use AI for this.
that. No, blame it on AI.
He just suffered.
Yeah.
He just suffered.
All
Suffered for his
minutes
craft.
of the meeting.
Mhm.
So say one of, like, the couple that we have in town, how often do they need to move around?
Like every 3 days right now, they have to move.
What it says over here, they move every 3 days.
Is that good for, like, we want to promote business and stuff in the town, is three days to move something? I mean, is it a short period of time?
Well, they could just get a permit
Okay.
and then stay in one location.
Because the other thing, as a resident, sometimes I'm like, where are they today? And if you don't go to the post office, you don't know where they're at. That's
Or,
all I'm-
or most of them have a Facebook that will tell you where they're at.
Yeah, I'm assuming they move every 3 days to avoid having to get a permit from the town.
Yeah, or,
Yes.
um,
Or the properties don't let them.
the properties don't let them stay most of the time, like for too long, so they have to rotate.
Okay.
Dancing Jaguar, that's why they're staying there, is because they have.
Yep, they have,
Uh-huh.
and they have permission from 40 Mile to stay. But like the other one we have, they would have to go through there's a whole other set of rules to become kind of with access and egress and parking and that kind of stuff. So that's why a lot of them don't stay in one spot, they move. Because then they don't have to follow certain rules for parking and that kind of thing.
And is this, the way it's set up now, is this good for the town to carry out and, I mean, is it?
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
works?
we keep a pretty good eye on it.
And it's
um,
workable for you guys?
Yeah, well, and what happens is between code enforcement and like when I drive into town or Kim drives into town or when our maintenance guys are driving around,
Mhm.
they kind of we keep an eye. It's like, okay, they're here today. Okay. So when I drive in the morning, I'm like, oh, okay, they're here today. Okay. So and then if I were to drive by in a couple days and be like, hey, why you still there? But,
Okay.
like the ones we have are really good. They do what they're supposed to do.
And when we support small business and,
Mhm.
but we want to support, yeah.
Yeah, she's been really good about moving every few days.
She's
So,
really, she seems to be pretty savvy about.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just as long as it's workable for
Yep.
people and it's enforceable. and-
Yep. Yeah, because this is not, it's not a huge town, so it's pretty easy to, like, Kim drives in from one end and I drive in from the other end, so.
And she's from here.
Yep.
And her, I know her coworker, Megan's from Albert's.
So, yeah, it's working good.
Okay.
And the other food trucks that come in are only here for like fair.
And
Yep, so they're for an event, so they're here for, less than whatever.
okay.
So, or they just come in like the ice cream place comes in for some of our Saturday markets or, so they're only here for a few hours, not even, a whole day. So
Okay.
most of them are pretty temporary when they come
As
in.
long as it's working for both parties.
Yep.
So, okay.
We're not having any problems. So, and even in the past, when we had like Canada Kitchen, they would come in on Thursday. Okay.
We started up again back when.
I know.
In Virginia.
I know, except now I don't get the pineapple grilled cheese
I know,
anymore.
right?
They went to Virginia?
Yeah, Steve
They
was
have
posting
family.
on Facebook that
They have family, kids and stuff.
I was really excited because I saw we're selling up here. And I'm like, yay, they're back. Or so they
Uh-huh.
and I was like, no,
That was a tease, wasn't it?
yes.
But yeah, we haven't really had any problem with our food trucks.
Okay.
So they all kind of know the gist.
And there's enough, like if someone is problematic, there's enough in here that you guys can do something pretty quickly and easily. Okay.
Yep.
It's a little wordy and we have some duplication, but, I don't think that's gonna hurt anything at this point.
Yeah, I would have put this in zoning anyways. I would have done under permitting, but here we are.
Well, is it a good time?
All he can work with is what he's
He's
been
got
given.
it.
He cannot recommend
That's up to
anything.
us later.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I think that's what I got the gist of earlier.
I need to step out of the room.
Yeah,
Not yet.
yeah, he can only make what we have look coherent.
I mean, there are, again, suggested changes, but those are based off of jurisdictional issues.
Not actually,
Procedural
not
matters.
actually rewriting the code and moving and
Correct. She included subdivision final plat provisions. Like, why in the world did she do that?
well, my theory.
So basically, just my understanding, mobile vendor license is a 30-day license. Is that?
Unless they get a
No.
permit.
Right, and then it's for a year.
Okay,
Yes. If they get a license, it's for a year.
but that's when they're gonna become long-term versus short-term.
Yeah, although some of them even will get a year-long license because what they do is they will come into town and do stuff, and then they'll come for the fair and do stuff, and then they'll come for the rodeo. So it's just easier for them to just have the license, and then they don't have to worry about it. They're covered for a year.
Right.
So a lot of them will do that just to be safe
It
because,
does say that every mobile vendor must have a license, though.
yes,
They don't all have to have a permit, but they do all have to have
Right.
a license.
yes, correct. But like I said, almost all of them just do because it's just simpler for them. They don't have to think about it. It's good for a year.
They get the,
Is
They-
that
yes.
licensed to state or town?
Town.
They have to have a health.
They have to have a health department permit if they're a food, but they have to have that to come to me anyway. So,
Page 93, number 2. We know signage is a 4-letter word. But are they allowed to have those things that, I don't know what you call them.
are they the flags?
Yeah.
Flutter banners,
Flutter
Yeah.
banners.
but we do have flutter banners approved in the.
We do, but this doesn't, I don't think that this allows that.
You said
Oh, I
page
see.
92 on number 2.
or number,
3.
During a may affix one menu of sandwich board.
So I think the flutter things are effective and I think it attracts business. So,
yeah, although some of them just don't have the ability. Like Dancing Jaguar does because they can put it out on the edge of 40 Mile on the road. But like some of those mobile trucks, they don't have the ability, they don't have a
yeah,
a
but shouldn't we-
stand.
Shouldn't we address it though, one way or the other?
Saying that they're allowed it.
Yeah. Because right now this is saying the only things that are, I would read it, the only things allowed are permanently affixed and one.
And a sandwich
minute
board.
Sandwich, yeah. And since flutters were kind of an issue,
Yeah,
I think we.
more for the permanent ones, but Tabitha uses a sandwich board on hers.
See, if they're not permanent or have going through I don't want, because you can't put a flutter flag in like all weighted very easily.
Right,
And then the good old wind catches it and it goes sailing down the road.
but it could be welded onto the trailer vehicle, you know what I mean?
Then that's permanently affixed
Yes,
and covered.
Okay. So that covers that.
yes.
But yeah,
It's like
most of
So
it,
even
most
if
of them
it's
just have a,
everything that goes in and out.
but if it was permanently affixed, then
It's
The
gonna,
post
the
is.
post is permanently affixed.
Right.
And it's like having the
Mhm.
US flag
Exactly.
hanging on the side.
yeah.
Okay, so we're.
but
good with this
most of them
one.
use sandwich boards because it's
Yes.
easy to pick up, take
Uh-huh.
down.
Okay. Seven, the highlighted in 7, on the same page, additional structures, canopies, tables, chairs associated are prohibited unless otherwise expressly permitted by the town.
Yes, correct. Because if they have all that stuff, they are more like a permanent business.
They're allowed to have that as a permanent.
But it takes if there's a whole nother set of regulations for a food truck to become
And
permanent.
this is not addressed.
Correct. That's a whole different can of worms.
Okay.
This is really just for mobile, moving around. Yeah, because if they start having tables and that kind of stuff, then they're permanent, and that's a different can of
Yes,
worms.
they have moved away from the mobile vending. to-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing with planning and zoning and, yeah. It's a whole lot more work.
Number 13 that says they shall operate 100 feet away from the restaurant while the restaurant is open. How much is 100 feet?
100 feet.
Yeah, I was saying.
Sorry, let me help myself.
I mean,
I don't know distance at all. Like, is it like from there? to
33 yardsticks laid end to end.
24. So,
Flipping them in my head.
so in this room here, just kind of looking at the tiles, we're probably about 24 feet from that wall to this wall.
Okay. So that's a big distance. That's.
Cause I'm counting those as 2
It's
feet.
2 feet.
yes.
So,
So it just means really,
Lot.
it just means like Tabitha couldn't park her food truck out in front of the taco place or Patty Ann's.
Agree. And 100 feet is a lot.
Yeah. But that's why she
So-
parks she parks over in Kellogg's, or she parks down by the car wash.
Okay.
She
Now,
parks up by the post office.
if everybody's closed on Monday and she parks in front of them, in theory, not a problem.
Right, because they're not
Yeah.
open, right?
Mhm.
She's not interfering with their business.
I just didn't, like I said, I'm really bad with distance and I didn't know if 100 would be too close.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
that's a
it's
pretty
not.
good distance, and yeah,
Josh, your peaks, additional operational standards, and then on the next page, setback and parking. Are those more for your,
The comments?
Yeah,
Those are showing you what section of the ordinance 2025-01 they came from.
oh, okay.
So the parentheses B,
Okay,
When you mushed them together.
understood.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
and it's probably because in that ordinance, there was probably a section that had the title setback and parking requirements, and then it had subparts, and so this would be
Okay,
that B.
okay. Well, like I said, I think it's a little wordy, but if we can live with what's there and look at it again in the future if we want to make.
It's less wordy than it was though, so.
Yes. One section versus two sections.
Yes, we accomplished a
Yeah.
lot, like we know, yeah. Very good, very good.
I did go. So going back to the beginning, with definitions.
What page, yeah?
3,
Okay, baby,
little 3.
baby 3, got it, baby 3. Okay, got it, green section.
I did start going through these and deleting the ones that y'all told me to delete, so that will happen. I had a note for number 20, which was the automotive sales and repair major. And I had a note where it says add passenger vehicles, and I can't
Oh.
remember what that was. Maybe I
That
can go
was
back and
because
watch the
The
video.
way it reads right now, it says automotive sales and repair means an establishment primarily engaged in sales, servicing, maintenance, or repair of commercial and heavy truck oriented vehicles.
It excludes passenger.
Yeah,
That's the
so
way it's
automotive
written.
sales and repairs, the way it's written.
And are we
exclude-
worried about repairs?
No,
And sales.
But we have sales.
well, we just
Yeah.
need to get the word passenger in there.
We have
Because-
automotive sales somewhere else.
So right now you have blue vehicles, and I don't know what this definition or how it's necessarily used somewhere else. But automotive sales is different than automotive repairs, and I would hate for somewhere to. in
Although these are
here-
together,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
right here, it says that they're together.
I
So
know.
do they need to be separated?
Probably, because I would hate to turn that into a non-conforming use.
Yeah.
Simply because somewhere in here it says automotive sales and repair of passenger vehicles is not allowed. Right now, they're not included. Because the word passenger vehicles isn't in here, and they don't sell commercial heavy truck machinery. They sell trucks, pickup trucks.
They might.
I haven't seen a lot.
Doesn't
That
mean that,
doesn't mean they don't.
They can't, huh?
Right, they,
All right.
Right,
they have done that.
yes, they
Depends
have.
on what comes at option.
And it depends upon what they get traded, and if they think it's a good trade, because.
but
we've
do
had
they
our
still
fees,
need to
so
be
we've
split
had all
out
those other
into
things there
automotive
too.
sales and automotive repair?
I don't think it's a bad idea to do that.
And trailers. I
Should it
think
say
if-
and or?
I would just have two different definitions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when we're doing the new zoning districts and we create, a town center that's an actual district, and we put in their permitted uses, we might put in automotive sales.
Not
Are allowed.
necessarily
Right.
Heavy truck repair. or-
Right, because,
per se.
I mean,
But-
who does more sales? Where the one down here does repair, but not sales.
Yeah. So you would want to make that distinction.
Yes, I
Make
think they
maybe
should
one
be,
a special use permit, the other one not.
yeah, but I think they should be separate.
Well, they
So
should
we
be
Separate
and
definitions.
Yes.
So we need to drop sales.
Just need to
From
make automotive
training
repair and then
add
automotive sales.
definition for automotive sales.
Yeah, just break them out.
Now, on that note, automotive sales of commercial heavy truck oriented vehicles, automotive sales of passenger vehicles
Can't we do
together or
passenger,
not?
comma, commercial? And
So here's so think about coming into Elizabeth. that little one that sells in Elizabeth, what does he have there?
A little bit of everything
You got it. So that's, we have to come up with a
that
definition
can cover that.
that, well,
If you want it
if
to
you
be
want it to
Right.
cover a little bit of everything, you know, because do you want who to ever look like that? Or do you want who to keep looking like who?
So-
Just something to think about.
Yeah. So the way it would work is that the term automotive sales will have its own definition. That term automotive sales will be considered use type. And so if we say town center, an allowed use is automotive sales. And if automotive sales is defined as commercial, heavy truck oriented and passenger vehicles, then someone can sell all of those vehicles and they can hold all of them on their lot here. If you say automotive sales are not allowed in town center, then no one can have sales of automotive vehicles in any form. It would turn who into non-conforming use. And basically when who is ready to go away, whoever comes along later can't continue it. It would have to change into whatever the zoning district allows. If you make a distinction between automotive sales of passenger, private passenger vehicles versus automotive sales of commercial and heavy trucks, so it's another layer distinction. You could say one of those is allowed in town center while the other one is not, and that would limit who from being able to sell anything but what is allowed.
Can we define it by the type of plating, license plates? To some sort.
Like recreation.
That would be
or-
difficult because you can use any vehicle as a commercial fleet vehicle. So red versus green,
Right.
blue.
And I'm not necessarily saying no to commercial fleet. What I'm trying to say is, I don't want the great big old Peterbilt
Yeah,
sitting over there. That has to have a certain, I don't know, there's certain types of licensing for.
Like light passenger vehicles or
Yeah.
something. Well, but we also do heavy trucks.
I
I
know.
would just say private passenger vehicle. That will cover anything that
There's
is
been
intended
trailers
to
and-
carry people.
I could go
That's private.
find the terms that can meet what you're intending.
Okay,
I just need to know what you're intending. Are you intending to have automotive sales be commercial heavy duty trucks, Peterbilts, and Nissans and Jeeps?
I
No,
would like an in between.
Or is there,
we would like a distinction between heavy machinery, commercial, and private passenger vehicles.
so no,
And then where we put it in zoning, we'll deal with later. Right now, we just need to define.
right, but that definition is part of what we have to come up with. So that way it could be written the way we're looking at. So are we talking about, do we want an ATV? Think about it that way. He sells ATVs over here. Do we want ATVs to be able to be sold over here? They're not, most of them aren't required to be licensed to drive on the roads. Some are, depending upon how fast they go. Golf carts. Do we want golf carts to be sitting over there? These are things that we have to come up with in that definition before we move forward, because if we don't get that definition right, then we're limiting,
Opening the door.
we could open the door or be closing the
I think
door.
we're good. I don't want to be too limiting. And I don't know what a good in between is, because I get what you're saying. Right now, it serves their purpose to make it look good, so people
Yes.
can see the smaller stuff and the bigger stuff in the back. So
Right.
they're naturally setting it up like that, and it looks reasonable as you're
Mhm.
driving through town. I like
Mhm.
it, but I get it. You can have someone who doesn't think like that, and
Right.
it could be really big, kind of beat up vehicles or trailers or.
Oh, but you
RVs
think
or
about up
something.
here, we have an RV and trailer salesperson. And they're up here, but they don't sell cars,
Mhm.
but they're
Mhm.
further down.
Can we divide it or define it by tonnage? So weight of the vehicle and if we could, then that would allow the smaller golf carts and ATVs to be
Because
included in private passenger.
that, because.
Now you made Josh think.
Because if you think about it, that would allow you to have your, the. What, I don't wanna say
Your
toy haulers,
recreational vehicle.
right, to come up with a good balance, without having necessarily the great big old Kenworth and Peterbilt sitting over there. Yeah.
But do you wanna limit Brett to what he can and can't do with his business?
Yeah, that's what I don't wanna
Because
do that.
But
He
it
does
is,
take in trade for those
Mhm.
bigger vehicles, and he has had tractors down there too.
I
Well,
know.
he's not going to be limited because he will fall under non-conformance and be allowed to continue as he is.
But it's gonna be
But-
hard for him
but
to
if
sell it
he-
if we.
But if he goes
make
out
it
of
tight.
business and sells
a
it
new
to
business
somebody
comes
else,
in.
new business will have to conform to our standards.
And we don't want it to be too limiting, that the fact that people won't be interested and he won't be able to, But I get the aspect we don't want it kind of all trashed up.
yeah, because when I go past that corner one in Elizabeth, I'm like, yeah, he's got everything. If I ever need everything, I could go there, but it's not a pretty place. I don't think it's, very attractive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be discussing this a whole lot when we're talking about what you want to do with your town center, your
Mhm.
main street, the feel that you want to be giving to people who are coming into town, especially from out of town,
Mhm.
whether or not a Peterbilt or,
Concrete truck.
or even just a
Dump.
a place to sell vehicles right there is something that you want to have ultimately. And we're talking 20 years down the line.
Right.
Mhm.
You're talking 10 years, you're talking about things that are evolving over time. That's really the discussion that we'll really be talking about, the visual impact that different types of businesses have on commercial activity, and
Mhm.
tourism that you would
Mhm.
see and want.
But we also don't want it impossible enough that it gets abandoned and sits either.
If at that point in time, I'll be honest with you, in 20 years, if they're not there still, that property is gonna be very valuable as something else.
Yeah, buddy.
Hopefully,
If we're,
Hopefully,
if,
exactly, hopefully,
if
but,
we're doing what we're supposed to be doing as a town.
yeah.
right, and that's where we need to get both and make sure people have some room to operate.
Mhm.
Because I think we all like, if you have a need, you think, let's try to shop local business. If,
Mhm.
oh, I saw an ATV and so I
But,
think it's a good but we're also thinking long term.
right, but to also think of it this way, as if he was a car broker, he doesn't have to have it on his lot. He can get it from anywhere and get it to you. Not a problem.
He does that.
Yeah, so a lot of people are buying cars now with pictures, sight unseen, it's delivered and there it is.
I did that.
Uh-huh,
I will
so,
not be that person.
It's the physical use of the property.
Mhm.
And if you would like to have that be more, um, more of a restaurant or shopping commercial space in 20 years, then you're needing to implement zoning regulations now that would create that use. So that way, as he finishes his,
Whatever he does.
whatever he's doing money wise, it gives the next person very fair notice that you can't use it that way anymore. So if you're trying to buy the car business from them, you're gonna have to move that car business to an area in the town
Center.
where it's zoned and allowed.
Yeah.
And
Do we
that's
have to
how
decide
zoning
that
works.
tonight? I know that
We
we
just
need
need
to
to
have an
know.
We
definition.
need to
we
get
just
the
need
definitions.
you to come up with a good automotive sales definition for us.
that
And I
covers
understand,
everything.
yeah, and I believe I really understand the difference of what you're looking for, basically from the visual impacts of a tractor trailer tractor versus a F-250.
Yes,
Like there's a difference there.
very
There,
much so.
there is, and but they stage their area well. But
Yes. And that's why he also has this covered little space, I think, is to put those things that are not sitting online, that are not aesthetically pleasing,
Mhm.
but he can still sell them.
exactly.
And you can also create special use. Try not to overuse special use permits, but you can do
Yeah.
a special use permit. And the idea behind a special use permit is truly a the use is allowed, but we are going to put specific restrictions on how you're using it. So you could say that automotive sales of, I'm just gonna say Peterbilt because it's easier, of Peterbilt is a special use, which means they would have to get a permit, and as part of that permit, you would condition that the Peterbilt can never be within X feet of this road. It must be placed within inside X building. It must be screened. You can put those requirements and conditions on the use that will help benefit the goal of the town in making its town center and Main Street something that people want to come to. As well as still allowing that person to continue using their property. So
And I
there's
think-
different ways around it.
And I think the reason we're coming about on quite a few special uses because everything has not been consistent in the town and things have been allowed. But I think we all do agree, we don't wanna like inhibit permit people right now.
And that's why the non-conforming use is something that we need to definitely come back and visit once this is approved. Because there's a lot of things you can
Stuff
do
we have
with
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because there's non-conforming uses, is it a restaurant? Is it a car sales? Is it residence?
Mhm.
There's structure, so is it within setbacks that are required or not? What's the other real fun one? Can't think of it at the moment. But basically, you can make it to where what people have now, they can continue to use as themselves, but future people cannot use them those ways. They have to start to conform to the town's zoning ideas.
I have a question. Have we ever addressed quote unquote a lounge? Definition of a lounge?
Like versus a bar? Or like
Versus a
tavern?
club? And it's not in the definitions. And do we need to?
Wouldn't a lounge fall under more of a, like a bar?
If the term lounge is not used anywhere in this code,
We don't want
you
it.
don't need a definition for it.
What would
It
we
becomes
use?
a administrative interpretation. So an administrator would be able to determine that what they're putting forward, even though they're calling it a lounge, is really
A bar?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the alcohol stuff's pretty specific on, like, they have the liquor licensing has pretty specific definitions of what goes with each, like if it's a bar license, or if it's a restaurant license, or if it's a, they have pretty specific rules.
Are we saying a coffee shop is a restaurant?
If they serve food.
Is a coffee shop a restaurant?
Or would we, if someone wanted a coffee, because we've often talked about like coffee shop.
Yeah, because they're serving, yes, they would still, I mean, they would probably fall under restaurant because they still have to. They're still gonna have to follow like,
Serve safe and things of that sort. wouldn't
well,
they?
are we talking if they have alcohol or just a coffee shop?
We could have both. I mean, there's this possibility of,
Your restaurant definition is an establishment in which the principal business is the sale of food and beverages to customers. It doesn't say or
And we-
beverages.
Okay, let's make it and
or.
so that,
Well, don't just do and or.
Don't do and or?
okay,
Well, doesn't food, if you say food or beverage, doesn't that
But-
apply only one thing?
no,
Okay.
It can be one or the other or both together.
Can be both together.
Whereas and means in
Have
order
to
be a
be-
restaurant, it
has to have both.
food and
But
beverage.
you can't go and slash or.
You don't know, not in legal writing, I would never do that.
okay, so
Good
we
to
won't, so legally, we now have a new thing that we won't ever. write
Just
in.
or,
Because which is it? Is it and or is it or?
Well,
or,
it's either.
or, go with the or.
So it would be or, so ultimately when you do and slash or, it just means or, so we just use the word or.
I'm fine. I
But
don't
that
care.
means
I
that
just
a
wanna-
Because it could be a
shop-
coffee shop that doesn't serve any food, it just serves coffee.
Exactly.
And if that's the case, then it would fall underneath the definition of restaurant.
Yep.
But I didn't read this whole thing, but that may be licensed to produce and sell fermented malt beverages as an accessory use or to sell fermented malt beverages. In the sisters, like
We did not write that one, just so you know.
What should I say, food and beverages mean?
That's.
I think
a
restaurant
pretty
needs to be
word.
kept as food and beverage. I think you need to have both.
And then have something for coffee house. Drink establishment.
I was gonna say,
You can have a coffee
say most
station
coffee places,
or-
say most coffee places serve food,
Food, yeah, so.
even if it's just microwave food. Like, muffins and that kind of stuff.
And in the.
I mean, you look,
I'm devil's
Ziggy's
advocate.
Coffee, Starbucks coffee, they all have,
Even the little one that's the drive-through or drive around.
Yep.
one, They sell food in there too.
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
Yep.
But
She does.
not, though.
and even
Maybe not.
even Majestic View Church that does donation for their coffee has burritos.
But what if they don't? What if they're just like,
They're just coffee.
just coffee?
I don't know. We've never had anybody
Some
want to
little
be
coffee
just
shacks
coffee.
are pretty popular. And
They usually have food.
I've never seen a coffee shop without food.
if you guys are good, but I'm just, like, I'm saying devil's advocate. but
Well, then they would have the option of selling food if they're just gonna have coffee in there and they get their permit and license to go ahead and have a coffee
And,
shop.
and there's no reason they can't just do coffee. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
We jump to page 9.
Yep.
I did do this one. I did do this homework. I made it this far. So I just,
Definition of family,
yes.
I have a new one, I just don't have it with y'all, or with me tonight,
Oh, you do?
yeah,
Okay, good.
so this number 60, drop, it is violating statute, and then the number 61, I've tweaked it.
Okay.
So basically the one I have is like family means an individual or two or more persons instead of group,
Okay.
whether related or not. That a lot of it's the same, but then it's different as
Okay.
well.
Okay, good.
I'll provide that for the next.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that's even in my corporate stuff, that's how they define family. So I can't have non-married or non-siblings. If, let's say we have roommates, I'll just say, I have roommates, they're not doing it, they're just platonic roommates, they cannot be working at the same store. That because they fit the family, the
Because
definition
there's
of
two or
family.
more.
Because they fit the definition of family for my corporate business.
Okay. And I think we talked about this. Can we? Should we not? I mean, what if we're getting to the point someone has 18 people in a house? What's
So
our
that's
agreement?
controlled by other regulations such as building, fire code,
Okay.
water sanitation.
Very good.
The definition that I've drafted actually does include that language. And after I included it, I thought to myself, is that regulatory language? Maybe that shouldn't be in the definition, right?
I don't know.
We talked about that
so.
last time.
Because
I
I'm
think
already
so.
at the point you trying to get-
I believe it is regulatory language.
It came across as it, so I might tweak that one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where did I have it saved?
See why we never get this done? Because it just goes on. It just-
We are getting it done.
We're,
Oh,
you know what, we've done so much work and I think we've cleaned it up so much. It's just. It's funny when you go back and read it.
I gotta warn you guys, I need to be out of here by 8 o'clock.
That's not a worry, my husband would like to feed me that tonight.
No, it's what the books my head. So, but it probably save it up. That's what I was-
So right now, family means an individual or two or more persons occupying a dwelling unit and living together as a single housekeeping unit including persons related or unrelated by blood, marriage, civil union, domestic partnership, adoption, guardianship, custodial relationship, or other legal relationship. For purposes of this code, family is a land use classification and shall not be construed to limit occupancy of a dwelling unit based on whether occupants are related to one another. And then occupancy limitations may be based on demonstrated health and safety standards, including applicable building code, fire code, water quality, wastewater, or sanitation standards, or on local, state, or federal affordable housing program standards. I think that starts to get into regulatory language, so we will move that out.
But the beginning part sounded great.
Yeah. Pretty similar to the other one. But the registered sex offender over the age of 18 limitation, unless related by blood, marriage, or legal adoption, is one thing that I was having some issue with. I need to look into that further too.
Yeah, see if that's
Whether
the
we can have it as a definition or.
no, if we can include it,
If we can include it.
because it's a limitation, and we understand why it's there, but
Yes,
is
we
it
do.
a legal limitation that we're allowed to have in this?
Yeah, especially if they fall within
Or there.
concepts.
Mhm.
Okay, now this is just coming because I watched a show. But squatters, do we need anything about squatters?
That is a private.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Civil.
If you're talking about,
Civil.
if you're talking about like someone who goes into an empty house and then just lives in that empty house, that is a private, real property matter, civil matter.
That's a
Yeah,
civil
that's
matter.
not us. In fact, we might like it because they might actually
Take care of the
take
property.
care of it. I mean, you might have a squatter living by you and you have no
I know,
idea.
exactly. The show made me aware.
Yeah, but no, that's a civil matter between the homeowner and the
Yeah,
squatter.
Okay, so we don't need to address.
Now,
Okay.
you were talking about group home with the, in regards to, registered sex offender. We only have two definitions of group homes within our,
yeah. I mean, another thing I said last time is I wasn't going through here to determine if every single thing was legal because,
that's not your
Because then
job
we
today.
got, get really caught up too.
Okay.
yeah,
It's
So,
for
but
one,
yes.
for one purpose.
we're
Yeah.
limited by grant funding.
Yeah.
That's-
So if you can just make sure whether or not we can have that family not include, or if we can't,
Yeah.
we'll work with that.
Why am I doing it for family, not the other ones? Because you had two definitions of family.
Mhm.
So in order to
Clean it up.
correct it, I'm
Yes.
cleaning it. But if you have one definition of something in here, such as group homes, and there's not two that are conflicting, then I don't
Just
want to.
leaving it for now.
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Don't want to wander through the weeds too much.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
the town still pays me for it. They just don't use grant funding.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, right. Don't think that
We've already spent money once, right?
yes,
is why we're happy to have the grant funding.
yes.
Okay, so. From what I am understanding. That we just need to. Send this off for the new revisals.
Or review. He was gonna give us a clean copy first.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sending. Send it off for getting a clean copy.
Gotcha.
And then we come back and party next month.
So all edits that have been made, which are shown in the red, which was things that y'all had recommended, shown in blue, which is additional ordinances, shown in yellow, additional ordinances, shown in green are my edits.
Mhm.
Y'all are good with all of them except for where I've noted.
Right, just those few weird things.
Yeah, there's just like a couple.
Todd, Shannon, Sandy, do you guys have any things that we need to make adjustments on still that we haven't addressed yet tonight?
There was one let's go back to the automotive sales versus automotive service. Are we were talking about the little place down in Elizabeth that has like golf carts and RT or RTVs and all that. Should we think about maybe putting in a code or creating a code that allows that kind of sales?
When we discussed automotive sale definitions, we were including the small recreational vehicles as part of
Okay.
the definition. And, then we will talk later about where the zoning is prohibited those sales.
Yeah, that's what I gathered from it. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Nope, good clarification. Anything else, guys?
No, so far so good.
Shannon, Sandy, anything?
No.
Okay. So,
All right.
I
Then
guess we
I will put together a clean copy and send that to all of you for y'all to review and also to get y'all's final approval on at your next meeting.
All right.
So is there a time, like, I know we're wanting to get this done, but should we have an extra meeting to keep it moving, or are we up on that time? We're doing well time wise?
I mean, I keep telling the board I would love to bring it to them other days,
Ha ha ha.
but things go the way they go.
Meeting after next.
I'm glad that we've moved forward to the point where I can now put together a clean copy for you all to look at.
Okay.
And that's just how it goes.
Okay.
And as I said, last time the board has taken action to make sure that the zoning code that you had prior to this mess up is back inactive.
Okay.
We have the pending ordinance rule that can impact anyone who does new development applications. But we're moving it forward, and I think the board would just like for us, the planning commission, me as well, to really just get something into them.
That's clean and
Yeah.
organized.
I think we've reviewed enough, like a lot.
Yes.
Is there a chance we can get the clean copy a couple weeks before our next regularly scheduled, and then
Yeah, I'll send it out.
we're gonna get together and do our homework.
Over
And hold each other accountable.
Please remember OML laws, open meetings law.
And
And if two or more people on your board or commission are together or communicating, that is a meeting by definition.
So we can't.
And we will,
so we can't do that.
two of you can.
Two of you can,
Oh, we can't.
No one else.
but no one else.
Oh,
sorry.
3 or more.
Right.
Three or-
So Todd and
Because-
Shannon are okay still hanging out in the same household.
Oh,
No, they're not.
okay. Okay. So
Yeah, two of you is fine,
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
but you can't have three of you.
So I can't go party with Todd and Shannon and go over this.
Yeah,
Correct.
Sit on a table this far away from us, though.
No.
No, I'm
Not if this is
I'm
involved.
not. We, of course, we
No.
won't do that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for.
If you're discussing grandchildren, that's okay.
Yes.
yeah. If you happen to be around each other or at a party, that's fine. But if you're talking business,
Yeah.
this is business.
We just want to
That's
get it
when
done.
OML says no.
I just want to get it done. Legally, we want to get it done.
7:54. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting at 7:54. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, online people, I need to hear an
Aye.
aye.
That was
That's your majority.
Yeah, and Sandy's gone.
Yeah, we lost her.
She's done.
internet signal. I think.
It gets a little sketchy.
Well, and I think she said, okay, motion to move, I'm done.
Yep, that's what that click was. That was yes, click. All right, meeting adjourned.
Very good. Thank